everybody, welcome back to Right for Investing. And what I want to do today is show you how I screen for stocks in Fidelity's Stock Screener and find growth stocks. So here I am in the dashboard, and what you're going to do if you're in your portfolio, all you're going to do is going to come up to News and Research and click on Stocks. And that, of course, is going to take you to this screen. And then you come over here to the left and click on Stock Screeners. All right. And now you're going to come to this screen. It's just going to say start a screen. Everything's a screen, man. So, here are the kind of the boring choices here, and you can go with one of these. And, honestly, I don't get much out of these, but just to show you, you could click on growth and then maybe come over here and say, okay, I want companies that are increasing their sales and margins. And then you're going to get a bunch of these. I don't know how many results are here, but as you can see, quite a bit. So I don't use these kind of vanilla settings here. I like to set my own. So let's talk about this. So what I do is the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here where it says market capitalization. I'm going to click on that. And I just take out every thing except for micro cap here. I don't want the micro cap stocks. And there are 3,000 of them. So we're narrowing down our choices. And this can be a bit overwhelming because right now you have 2,500 results basically. So you have to figure out ways of reducing your options here. So what I like to do is I like to come down to where it says company growth, the plus symbol, and I click on that. And I do revenue growth first, and this is the trailing 12 months versus the prior. And I go there, and I just take out the first three, very high, high, and medium. I don't want to get rid of all the companies that don't have, let's say incredible revenue growth. Maybe something happened there. I don't know what the big picture is, but at the same time, I don't want negative and very low revenue growth for a growth stock, right? So I do that. Another thing that you can do is you can think about, well, what is the cash flow growth rate? And you can look at that. And maybe you want very high cash flow growth rate. And I'm going to take out the first three again, all the way down to medium. And you can see that now we have 316 results based off of just revenue and cash flow. And you can come over here to the right and you can click on one of these columns. Like let's say revenue growth is the most important to you. Then it's going to show you the companies with the most revenue growth. And there's Tilray, Zillow Group, and then there's Zoom Video Communication, so incredible revenue growth there. But even this is too many things, too many options. So, and we're looking for growth companies. So maybe what we should do is come down here to where it says EPS growth, and we can do something like this: projection this year. Let's see, projection next year versus this year, and let's just say the analysts are projecting a lot of growth. And now we're going to come down to 156 results. Something like that. And you can, once again, maybe you can click on EPS growth. You'd actually have to click on it twice to go back to where we were at. And then you can see these companies with incredible EPS growth. There's Opera there that has it's a small cap. I wasn't familiar with this other than the browser until yesterday. 131% revenue growth. And then look at this, EPS growth is projected to be 2,000 and something. Insane. And now you get Square down here, 43% revenue growth, and then 253%. There is Churchill Downs, there's Tesla. Let's just kind of take a look at some of these things. Marriott, of course, the hotels are probably going to be seriously growing if we get out of the virus here. Twitter. What else do we have? I have not done this, so you just have to bear with me. There's the BIP. I've seen that mentioned a lot, and there's one of my companies, Chewy, that had a 38.19% revenue growth and then projected 60% EPS. So we're basing things off of basically what is the projected growth. That was my Facebook, by the way, if you hear that. Uber Technologies, there's that one. And as you can see, it's just too many ideas, even through all of this screening so far. So maybe let's come down here and let's look at, once again, the EPS trailing 12-month total. And let's just for sakes, let's just take out very high and high. And now we're going to get somewhere, hopefully, and we can start to see some, reduction in our choices. Yeah, now we only have 27 choices. There's Newmont, Brooks Automation, And Boston Scientific, again, that keeps coming up. Maybe some of these are worth looking at. There's GoDaddy, which I'll be honest, I'm not a big fan of their services, but whatever. Tesla, and then my guy Netflix there, which is, EPS growth was incredible this year. So you can come down here. Oh, there's another one of my companies, Mimecast, that I have. These are the kind of screens that I get ideas on. I own Mimecast. That's a small cap email cybersecurity stock. And you can see incredible growth this last year. And then projected growth is 27%. The cash flow growth rate is not all that great. Revenue growth is nice. So you can get some ideas. There's AMD. And, you can tailor this to things that are important to you. Like maybe let's take out the cash flow growth rate now. And now we're back to 77 results because maybe cash flow growth rate's not something important to you. You can take that out and now you're left with this. Another thing that I do on, let me just tell you, this is, I think, we're talking more long-term trades here, but let's talk about more short-term trades. How would I look at something that I want to swing trade? Like maybe how do I figure that out? So let's talk about that real quick. Let's see. I'm going to take, I want to keep all of those things. I think those are good criterias. But let's go back down to here where it says, price performance. I went in under performance and volatility, click on that, and then price performance. All right. And one of the things that I do sometimes is I look to see what stocks are doing over the past month. And these are stocks that are flying up right here, these medium, high, very high. And now I'm going to have only 40 results. And if I'm looking for swing trades, maybe I want stocks that are growing really fast. And right now the momentum is with them. That's why I'm doing this price performance. And I look at this and then I look at some of these stocks. And frankly, some of these stocks are going to be hype, what I call hype stocks. But, if it's a stock that you are just planning to buy and get out of, then what difference does it make? I have bought hype stocks and done really well. It's not something that I would hold long term, but at the same time, maybe that's something. And, one of them that can maybe you're thinking about Beyond Meat. You can see that Beyond Meat is up 15.70% in the last month, but it also has a lot of growth potential. I mean, these numbers are astronomical here. Lots and lots of growth. Maybe that's one that you would consider. 10-Cent Music Entertainment. I think they had a really great day today. Yeah, I remember that. 5.68%, or not today, but Friday. And then you can see that it's up. So are Alibaba. And you can get these kind of ideas there. Hey, look at there. Mimecast is up 9%. It doesn't seem like it for my portfolio. I feel like it hasn't been going up that fast, but I guess it has. But you can do things like this, and maybe, if we're just looking for a short-term trade, then revenue growth, maybe it's just not that important. Then you take out the revenue growth, and now all of a sudden you have 63 results for a swing trade, or maybe even a longer-term trade, like, a couple of months, but you're not looking to hold it forever. You can, cater this screen towards what you're looking for. But let's just, let me just start over completely other than market cap and maybe go a different route here just to show you some options. Maybe I want a long-term hold that's a growth stock, but at the same time, let's do something completely different. And there's no right or wrong here. I mean, we're just looking, these are just numbers on the screen. It doesn't tell you what's going on with the company too much as far as like, do they have a moat or something? So let's go with forward EPS long-term growth. And this time I'm going to be more selective. I'm not going to even choose medium. And I'm going to do something like that. But maybe I want a company that has growth, but at the same time presents some sort of, value at the same time. And so you can get a mixture, like a blend of maybe some value using the PEG ratio. Let's go up to maybe just low and very low. And then I got one other thing I want to do. Management and growth is what I'm looking at. Return on equity is another another item that I use a lot. I'm a huge fan of return on equity. So maybe I want return on equity to be very high. And I'm going to say that I want return on equity to be my most important thing here. And so I'm going to click on that column, and that bounces these up to be right near the top. And you get some very interesting things here because we get, we're getting a lot of growth. great return on equity, and then our PEG ratio here is reasonable too, right? So look at what's at the top. You got O'Reilly Automotive. You got Lowe's, which I have swing traded a number of times now. I could have probably came out better if I just held it, but because it's up pretty good. And then you get some tech stocks like VMware and things like that. I was just going to kind of go down through there. Yeah, look at that. There's Lam Research, of course. Microsoft, of course, is a huge company, but look at the return on equity is 42%. So it's tremendous. So you're getting a lot of growth. Tractor Supply Company is one that's been on my radar that I don't know. I'm at some point, maybe in the next year, I might end up buying it. Applied Metals, that's another one that I've looked at. And of course, there's my friend Netflix again. Dollar General. Let me just come down here and, I usually, I'll be honest, I usually sit here with a piece of paper and I make notes, and I write things down. ResMed is a company that I have looked into. And let's keep going down. Boy, there's a lot of these. There's Marvel Technologies, the semiconductor. I have a friend that owns that. XPO Logistics is one that I've also looked into. But once again, 79 results. Maybe I want to get rid of this. Maybe I want a company that's growth, but also pays some sort of dividend. And so I would go over here to the dividend yield. And I'm going to say that I just want a low-paying dividend. And now all of a sudden I have stocks that pay dividends but have a little bit of growth, present some value, but incredible return on equity. And I think that, these sorts of screens can help you weed out things. And so now all of a sudden you got Tractor Supply Company, Microsoft, and ResMed in there. But I'm just kind of presenting to you, once again, these are just numbers on a screen. They're not really telling you the big picture here. But at the same time, I think you can get a quick glimpse into a company, let's do the opposite here. Like, let's say, if I was looking at return on equity and I saw something like this, which was, these companies here, the return on equity is just awful. And I noticed that maybe there's Sirius Radio, unfortunately. Wow. I don't know what the story is there, but, the Eldorado Gold Group there, if I saw a company that had horrible return on equity, maybe that's something I want to avoid. Or maybe the PEG ratio is not important to you. And, you want to come back up here and you want to have high return on equity and you have high forward growth. But this time, let's do one other thing real quick. There is one other thing I wanted to do. Profit margin. Profit margin is another one that I like to look at. So here I want very high profit margins there. And then very high return on equity, very high EPS long-term growth. And so high margins, high return on equity, lots of tech companies here, Marvel, VMware, and then MasterCard. Wow, MasterCard popped into there. There's Newmont again, and then there is, of course, Microsoft, and then there is Adobe. So there's lots, you'll see in Facebook, NVIDIA. So look at this. I mean, it's just lots and lots of tech companies that have lots of growth, lots of margin, lots of return on equity. But this is just a quick summary. If it were me, probably what I would do is I would go through here, and once again, I sit here with my paper and I take notes on things, and then I go investigate the companies that seem appealing to me. Sometimes I'm in a place where I don't want to invest in any more small caps, and I do something like this, and I just only invest in let's just say mega caps or something. And then, of course, you get all the big names that everybody's heard of. But this is just a quick look at the stock screener. I think it's useful as far as finding growth stocks, in addition to, I use it to find dividend stocks. But this is more along the lines of what I'd be looking at if I was doing a growth stock, which is revenue, profit margin. I like to look at return on equity, even with growth stocks myself. And then projected EPS growth, revenue growth, once again. Those sorts of things are what I'm looking for. And then even when I am doing swing trades, I'm looking personally, everybody does this different. I am not a TA person. I do not do all that stuff. Frankly, I keep it very simple. So, keep it simple. That's just what I do here when I do these swing trades, which is I look for stocks that have lots of momentum. And I basically just get on the train and get off pretty quickly there. That's kind of what I did. And I did that with Roku, by the way. I'll talk about that maybe in my next video. I bought Roku. and sold it within a month and got out over, with a 12% gain. And that's that. I don't want to hold the stock. It's very volatile, but I'll take my 12%. But you guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Please visit my website at ripeforinvesting.com. I'm also starting an Instagram page. I just put up one picture yesterday. Maybe I'll have a link there. But you guys, thank you so much. And please hit that subscribe button if you've enjoyed this. It's going to just encourage me and help me to keep these things going. All right, you guys, take care.